It had been 2 months since Ryan married Jungkook. 2 quiet, strangely warm months. Morning started with the aroma of his black coffee and ended with the rustle of sheets and soft breathing on the other side of the bed. Not perfect but tender in its own way. Jungkook was not overly expressive, but he had a rhythm to his affection. Warm fingers brushing, a slight pause before shutting off the hallway lights to make sure she was in bed, always bringing her a glass of water before sleep, unasked. But tonight, at dinner, it started at his mother's house over dinner, a casual family gathering. Jungkook's arm had rested along the back of Ryan's chair for most of the evening. He poured her soup, pressed her chopsticks, corrected his younger cousin when they interrupted her mid sentence. Ryan had into him. The kitchen was dimly lit. She had not meant to listen, but she stopped when she heard her name. She is sweet, and I know I am asking a lot so early. That's exactly why I was not agreeing to get married in the first place. Silence. Ryan did not wait to hear more, did not wait for context, did not wait for truth. Her heart once tucked safely under his routines and small gestures. When he returned to the table a few minutes later, he noticed it immediately. The way her eyes did not search for him again. Later, on the drive home, she stared out of the window, and when they walked into the apartment, it was dim. Jungkook dropped his car keys in the bowl by the door, loosened the collar of his shirt, and glanced at Ryan. She was quite still. He watched her undo the clasp of her bracelet slowly, like her limbs were moving through water. She did not meet his eyes when she pressed by him. No smile, no teasing, little quip about many times his aunt asked if they were trying for a baby yet. No muttered complaints about traffic. She walked straight to the bedroom and began undressing like a stranger in her own home, folding her dress, slipping into her nightwear, tugging her hair out of its pin. Then stepped in. He reached out behind, gently resting his hand on her hips as she stood by the vanity. His touch was soft, familiar. Come to bed, he murmured, brushing her hair over one shoulder, lips ghosting the base of her neck. She stiffened. I am tired. I just want to sleep. Jungkook paused. His hand fell away slowly. He watched her slide under the covers without another word. No good night, no leaning into him, no hand brushing over his chest like she usually did when she got comfortable. He stood there, staring at her turned back, something unfamiliar and cold blooming in his chest. He did not press her, did not touch her again, but long after the room had gone quiet, he stayed awake, eyes open in the dark. Next morning, the sunlight bled gently through the sheer curtains when Jungkook stayed awake. His hand reached instinctively to the other side of the bed, but it was already empty, cool. No faint weight of her sitting at the edge of mattress coaxing him awake with her usual, "Come on, sleepyhead, you will miss breakfast again." Just silence. He sat up slowly, raking a hand through his hair. The coffee was waiting for him on the nightstand, same as always, but it was not his coffee, it was black, bitter. No tiny hard doodle in red market on the napkin like she used to do when she thought he would not notice. She always made it just the way he liked, without him ever needing to ask. Pulling on his t-shirt, he padded into the kitchen. She was there, already dressed in soft home clothes, standing by the stove as the smell of eggs filled the air. The apron around her waist was tied neatly, her hair pulled back in a loose bun. Something invisible, something vital, her presence used to fill the room. Now it barely brushed against it. "Good morning," he offered, voice rough from sleep. She turned, giving him a small smile. "Soft, polite morning. Your breakfast is almost ready." Her voice was not cold, but it was not warm either. It floated past him, light and empty, like she was offering a weather report. He walked up behind her, hands gently resting on her hips, testing the water. She did not flinch, but she did not lean back either. You always do this when I am holding a spatula. But today she stirred the eggs a few times, then gently moved to the side to let him pass as if touch had not meant anything. At the table she served him quietly, no fussing, no asking if the toast was too crisp or if he wanted jam. She just placed the plate down, sat across from him and picked her own food. He watched her. She was not angry. "Did you sleep okay?" he asked, trying to bridge the silence. "Yeah," she said, nodding softly. "You?" It was all right. She did not push further, did not ask about his meeting, did not tease him about the way he had tossed in his sleep lately. Just nodded again and reached to her cup. No sparkle in her eyes. No gentle hand on her wrist. A quiet, aching absence of all letting things she used to give freely. The affection, the attention, the warmth she wrapped around him like second nature. And he never once thanked her for it. Never asked for it. At office. Later in the office, Jungkook stared at his phone screen in the middle of his work, thumb hovering over the message he just received from YN. "I am visiting mom today. Might be back a little late." It was not cold, but it was not sweet either. No emoji, no soft words, no miss you, like she used to send when they were apart for even a few hours. He reread it anyway just to see he missed something, but no, it was exactly what it was. "Don't cook tonight, be ready at 7, we will have dinner tonight." A gesture really. He did not plan to say it, but something in him just wanted to see her eyes lift up again, wanted her to look at him like he was still meant something. Now sitting at his desk in the late evening quiet, he let out a long breath and tossed his phone down. Later. By the time she got home, the apartment was dim but not empty. The soft light from the kitchen spilled onto the hallway floor, and the faint scent of something overcooked clung to the air. Jungkook was still in his shirt sleeves, rolled up clumsily. Two dishes slightly burnt, a third one untouched, because he realized too late he did not know how to season it. He had set the table unevenly but neatly and placed her favorite glass on her side. The moment she stepped in, Jungkook turned from the stove. "You are back," he said, his voice softer than usual. "I did not go out, thought I would cook. I told you I would be late." "I know, I just thought we could still eat together." She did not respond. She washed her hands and joined him at the table. She did not comment on the food, though he could tell from her expression that one of the dishes was too salty. She ate quietly. He kept waiting for something, a glance, a soft smile, even a sarcastic little jab. But she said nothing, not even when he reached to refill her water, and when she finally spoke, her words were like thin needles under his skin. "You don't have to cook," she said, setting her spoon down. "I would have made something when I got back." Jungkook blinked confused. "I wanted to. I did not say I would not prepare dinner. You should have waited. You don't have to do all this just to make a point." He stared at her. "A point? I was not making a point. You don't usually notice dinner at all, so I thought maybe. Never mind." Her fingers twisted around her glass, and that was when he noticed. She was not mad. She was not blaming. She just looked tired, tired of doing all the things and realized he never really saw them. Tired of giving and giving only for the day she did not. He tried and expected something in return. He had not thanked her even once in the past 2 months. Not for the food, the gentle care. He just accepted it as if love was quite a chore she owed him. And tonight, when she stopped doing it, even just for a day, he noticed. She just cleared her plate and stood up, murmuring, "Thanks for the meal," like a stranger might, and walked into the sink, leaving him sitting there with two half eaten plates and a hollow, growing regret in his chest. Later. That night they did not speak again. Vian lay curled under the duvet, her back facing him. The only sound was the occasional creak of the bed when either of them shifted. Pretending to sleep, Jungkook stared at the ceiling in the dark, jaw tight, mind racing. He could feel the gap between them like a canyon, and no matter how close their bodies lay, the warmth did not cross over, not anymore. She did not touch him. She did not even sigh the way she used to when she was drifting off, head nestled against his shoulder. Now she just existed beside him, and he let the silence at him, wordless, helpless. Next morning, it was the same, exactly the same. She was already up when he opened his eyes. The scent of breakfast floated through the air. Toast, maybe eggs again, but nothing reached him. Not a soft call from the kitchen, not the hum of a song she used to play. He came out of the bedroom and found her sitting in the sunlight corner of the dining table, quietly, scrolling through her phone. Good morning. That's all. He tried again. You sleep okay? She nodded once, offering a practical smile. Yeah, you? Yeah, it was an echo of yesterday, like they were stuck in a loop, repeating the same point lines, while something fragile inside her drifted further away. He left for the office with his usual bag and phone, but his steps felt heavier. The quiet ride to work stretched longer than usual. Her stand still lingered faintly on his sleeve from where she washed his blazer. Evening. That evening he came home early, earlier than she would expect, earlier than he ever did. He let himself in quietly, hoping she would be humming in the kitchen or curled up on the couch, watching a drama or maybe just wearing one of his t-shirts again. But the apartment was quiet. Still, she was not in the kitchen. The lights in the living room were dim, and the curtains drawn hallway. Her slippers were near the door. He padded softly through the hallway and found her in the bedroom, seated by the window, knees pulled to her chest. A book was open on her lap, but her eyes were not moving. Just staring out of the dusky skyline, Jungkook stood in the doorway, watching her for a moment. Then he did not notice him at first, or maybe she did, but didn't react. I came home early, he said quietly. She turned her head slightly, eyes soft but distant. Okay, silence, his hand curled into a fist by his side. I thought maybe we could go out, he added. Just a walk or something. Or anything. She hesitated, her gaze flicked down to the book, then back to the window. I am a little tired, she said. It was not cruel, it was not cold, but it cursed him all the same, because 2 days ago she would have stood up before he even finished the sentence. Only if you buy me a chocolate crepe on the way, but tonight she just stayed where she was, still distance, and Jungkook could not tell if she was waiting for him to ask harder or simply done waiting altogether. Later, dinner was quiet again. The same plates between them, the same clink of cutlery, the same aching silence, but tonight Jungkook could not take it anymore. He watched her carefully. No teasing glance, no soft nudge of her foot under the table, like she used to do just to make him smile. She was not angry, was not distant in a punishing way, just removed like something had quietly unplugged inside her, and that hurt worse than any fight ever could. Vian, he said gently. She paused, turning slightly with the dishes in her hand. Hmm, can we talk? She blinked, surprised by the seriousness in his voice. Her eyes searched his for a beat before she nodded and set the plates down on the table again. He took a slow breath. I have been meaning to ask this for days. He began carefully, but are you upset because of something my mom said at the family dinner? Vine looked down, fingers tightening slightly around the edge of her napkin. No one said anything bad, she responded. But you have been distant since that night, he pressed, voice softer now. Was it when she brought up kids? He asked. She hesitated, and the hesitation was all the answer he needed. He sat forward, rested his forearms on the table. Was it something she said, or something you heard me say? He asked. Vine's eyes lifted slowly. He could see it in her face, the flicker of guilt, the weariness. I didn't mean to eavesdrop. I was just passing by. I heard you with your mom. You said that's why I didn't want to get married in the first place. Her breath trembled. As she spoke, I didn't hear the rest. I just froze. I thought you did not want this. That maybe you married me because everyone expected you to, and I start wondering if I was forcing something on you. Jungkook stared at her stunned. Good wine, he breathed, standing up and walked down the table. He knelt in front of her chair, gently taking her hand. That's not what I meant. Not even close. She looked at him, eyes glassy. Then what do you mean? He exhaled slowly, grounding himself before answering. My mom pulled me aside that night. She asked me when we are planning to expand the family, and I got frustrated, not at you, at her. Her brows knit faintly, still trying to catch up. I told her this is exactly why I didn't want to get married so long. Because the moment you do, everyone expects the next thing grandchildren, milestones, and no one stops to ask if the couple's ready. I told her to stop pressuring me. I said I would not rush you, that you have been only my wife for 2 months, and even if it takes years or 10, I will wait. Yabayan, I didn't marry you to fulfill some duty. I married you because I wanted you. Not a checklist, not a baby. You. I thought, I thought I was something just you settled for. You were the only thing I ever chose on my own. Jungkook said quietly. Don't ever think you were forced into anything, and I was not forced either. If anything, I felt like I don't tell you enough how much you mean to me. I feel so guilty these past days, she admits, because of part of me wanted you to notice, wanted you to ask, and the other part just hurt. I noticed. Every morning you did not sit beside me. Every evening you did not smile. I noticed it all. I just don't know how to reach you. You do not lose me. I am right here, and I am not going anywhere. The time when they lay down that night, there was no distance between them, just quiet breathing, held hands under the sheet. Next morning, the sunlight poured in lazily through the curtains, spilling gold over the sheets tangled around their legs. Vian stayed fast, her cheeks pressed against a bare chest. His arm was draped securely around her waist, his fingers still resting on the small of her back. The kind of love that did not ask for anything but presence. Jungkook had kissed her with quiet desperation, not to prove anything, not to take, but to remind him he missed her, how much he wanted them. How much he wanted them, not because it was expected, not because his family asked, but because she was his. You are awake, don't want to be, you were warm. So I am your personal heater now? She asked. He did not answer with words, just dipped his head and pressed a kiss to her forehead, then her cheek, then lower, grazing her shoulder as he breathed her in the like he could not get enough. I missed you. God, I missed this. Vian tightened her arms around his waist. Me too. They stayed like that for another moment, tangled and still with the sheets wrapped lazily around them like they had all the time in the world. But then Jungkook slowly shifted. He kissed her then, slow and deep, no rush like before. There was no hunger in it, only fullness, the kind of kiss that builds a home between two people. By the time they pulled apart, Vian was smiling again genuinely. Should we stay in bed all morning? She teased. I mean, I already emailed my assistant that I am working from home. You did not. Oh, I did. I have more important business here. You are ridiculous. Only for you, he said simply. Later, they stayed in bed longer than usual. Eventually, they wandered into the kitchen together, barefoot, her wrapped in his shirt, him still half asleep but smiling every time she passed by him. And you always say that after I don't mess it up, he shot back. But this time, when she reached to fix the pen, hey, stay like this for a second. Her hand slid up to his chest, smile softening. Like what? Close. She melted against him. I love you, she whispered. Even when I thought you did not, I still love you. I never stopped loving you, not even for a second. The pancakes burned slightly that morning. They did not care because the kitchen was filled with laughter again, with small touches with Jungkook kissing syrup off her cheek. And by the time they sat down to eat, toes touching under the table and hands clasped without even thinking, it was clear. They were not just close again, they were stronger now, closer than before, because love, when rebuilt honestly, always fits better than second time. The end.